This is an incoming transmission from the Jersey Shore.
This is Financial Insanity with Scott McLean, powered by McLean Advisory Group. Today you'll hear some of the most important financial information and wealth-building techniques available anywhere.
Let's get this party started, huh?
Do you have a question for Scott and the team?
Am I on the air?
609-488-4646. That's 609-488-4646.
We'll get that information to them by radio.
Now, Financial Insanity with Scott McLean.
Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Financial Insanity. And you know the show. We're going to make your dollars make sense and have some fun while we're doing it. I am Alex Dingman, your host, and with me, the man with the plan, the guy who's been helping people retire smarter since 1983, financial advisor, author, tax wizard, my friend, Scott McLean of McLean Advisory Group. What's up, Scott?
Hey, buddy. I can't. What a beautiful day it is here in paradise.
Always, baby. It is great to be here, my friend. And yeah, I mean, sorry to date you, 1983, Return of the Jedi was in the theaters back then, Scott. And
I've been doing this thing since leg warmers, and so obviously we're cool. Return of the Jedi was in the theaters. That's me. Who's your daddy?
Exactly. And so, you know, we're still trying to perfect those Jedi skills, but today, helping our listeners hopefully unlock some financial superpowers, specifically about why working with a financial advisor can mean so much for you, could actually mean an extra $1.3 million in retirement, possibly, Scott. That sounds good.
It'd be great, depending if you got big ears, and calm down. The markets are absolutely mind-blowing. Could be good, could be bad, could be up and down, and then you kind of figure, you look at your statement, where am I? So that's so important to control the emotions, and that's a really hard thing to do.
Well, absolutely. And so we're going to talk about some things today, why working with a financial planner can be such a good idea. And we're going to talk first off about some critical retirement decisions that you must make and why having a planner at your side can be beneficial. Let's first talk about pensions. Now, a lot of people, there's some people that still get these pensions, but deciding which payout option to take is a massive decision, right, Scott?
It's huge. It could be a mistake. It could be a blessing, depending how you do it, because you have the lump sum option. So you take it all out. Now you've got to invest it. I've known a lot of times the big companies out there, I won't say it, but the Bell companies are offering these variable annuities, which I put in my book. Be very careful because they are very, very expensive. They sound wonderful, but be careful. Then they have the single life option. You get the payout for the rest of your life. So you get a check, but you're going to get a lesser of a check versus the joint option. So if you, let's say, get $1,000 a month, and if you die, your wife gets $1,000 a month, versus the single life option, maybe you're getting $1,500 a month, and if you die, your spouse gets zero. So the question is, which is best for you, and what's the intrinsic value of that difference of $1,000 for joint versus $500 for single payout? And that's why people give us a call all the time when they give our students a call. Scott, which is the best option? Well, there's a lot more questions than that, but I can tell you there are some wonderful options out there.
Well, definitely. And so another critical decision, Scott, that you may be able to help with is Social Security. Now, this one, it can really be crazy, just the different information that's out there and what people think. And, you know, some people think, all right, I think I'll take it at 62 because I want my money right away. But, you know, waiting, that can really be worth it, can't it?
You know, we do workshops. We have change workshops every year because it seems like the government needs to fix the Social Security, and how they're going to fix it.
Right.
They could fix it in several different ways, which we won't go over here. But I hope they take advantage of that because, again, the coffers are getting lean and mean. So the question is, when do you take it? 62? Or maybe your spouse passed away and you take it at 60? Or maybe you wait. It depends on a lot of different factors, and that depends on your plan. What does your plan, your financial plan, look like? In other words, all the areas of income, how will they sustain you and your spouse if you're married? Or if you're single, how will that sustain you? Is it enough to keep up with inflation? And these are really important questions. And it's not a one-time answer, Alex, because life does change. Interest rates do change. The stock market does change, almost like, Alex, you changing your your underwear at least once a month. But I mean,
I try. Yeah.
But you've got to pay attention to the details of all areas of your assets.
Yes, absolutely. As we're talking today about why working with a financial planner can be so beneficial for you, especially with retirement planning. And so first off, talking about some critical decisions, whether it's a pension payout options, also Social Security, could be $1 million decision there just based on the timeline. Now, Scott, protecting your money and estate planning. This is a big one, and I think sometimes people can glaze this over. And I also want to remind folks, if you do have questions about anything we're bringing up today, if you have questions about maybe an area where Scott and his team could possibly help you, this number is 609-488-4646, 609-488-4646 for Scott McLean and McLean Advisory Group right here in Waretown. But talk about that a little bit. Protecting your money, estate planning, this is important stuff, and sometimes it doesn't get looked at like it should.
A lot of times it doesn't get, not just sometimes. I'm sure those of you listening right now, you probably really haven't dusted off your will, power of attorney, living will. Should you have a trust? Should you put your house into an irrevocable trust to protect it from the nursing care center and your liquidity of assets? How do you protect this? And this area is a very, very gentle area, hard to talk about sometimes. People don't want to talk about it, yet they need to talk about it. And by putting it off does not take away the problem. So again, taking care of your will, power of attorney, living will, healthcare directive, or even we said the irrevocable trust. This is when people give our studios a call. By the way, if you have these questions, 609-488-4646. Love to talk to you off the air, maybe give you some guidance, because this is why I believe the financial advisor, where he or she should be looking this annually, at least once a year, asking questions. Now, why? Lawyers don't look at the legal documents every year. Well, I believe in the event something happens, Alex, you and your sweetie, one of you pass away, who's going to be the first to knock on the door? The kids. When the kids start knocking on the door, where does the money go? You may have a child that's wayward. Maybe that money needs to go into a spendthrift trust. You may have a special needs son or daughter. Maybe you need a special needs trust. Maybe you need to hide assets so the government doesn't grab it, and we're talking about your revenue. So this is a very area that people do not ask lots of questions about, but we at our firm at McLean Advisory, we try to drill down deep to make sure why. Why? Because we want your money to last with your family, with your loved ones, not the government, and not taxation. Important.
No, so important. Making sure that money goes to the right place after you're gone. That is definitely something you want to have control over. Another thing is we're talking about protecting your money and estate planning. Oh, man, that silent killer, taxes. Not something that can be ignored. It has to be part of your plan.
No, it definitely needs to be looked at least annually. So if you're doing your tax planning, the best time to do tax planning, by the way, is, drum roll, please. That's right. That it should be done right around July or August, right around then. If not July, I like it's a good time. But here it is. If it's tax season right now and you're in your stake of the woods, every single year it happens, like Groundhog Day. And this is important. So again, taxes is, I call it the silent killer, as you mentioned. Ignoring taxes like ignoring termites in your house. Why? It will cost you, and the cost could be minimal if you pay attention to it. It could be tremendously awkward and destroy your income for your spouse, yourself, because taxation can really, it's almost like evaporating your money and not even know what's going on. So again, paying attention to the tax roll. This is why the financial advisor, if your financial advisor has not looked at your tax returns, well, you know what? Maybe you should find another person who's looking at them on an annual basis. It doesn't mean they have to do the taxes, Alex. It means they should review the tax return to make sure your portfolio, your income is the most tax efficient out there. And I can tell you, the legal documents aren't paid attention to on a yearly basis, and the taxes aren't paid attention to, which is why we brought into our firm the 3D approach. I call it the three blind mice, the dreams, the dollars, and the dynasty. And this three blind mice, if you're with the three blind mice, you might want to give our studios a call, 609-488-4646, and say, Scott, what do you mean by three blind mice? Like, trust you guys. Listen to me. Type in on your computer, on your cursor right now, the number 3, BLINDMICE.com. Watch that video, 3blindmice.com. Watch that video. You'll understand clearly what I'm saying, why it's so important, Alex, to pay attention.
Well, absolutely. And with taxes, I mean, just a 1% difference, a 1% mistake in the portfolio. I mean, just what that can do. And so I think all of this, Scott, speaks to the fact that your team, we mentioned the fact been helping people in this area since 1983. And you look at the whole picture. Every person that comes in, every couple, every individual is unique. Every plan is different, customized to that person as far as what they're trying to accomplish and how much risk or what they want to leave behind, all of that. And Scott, people can trust that you're going to look at the whole picture. You're going to look at everything. And that's the kind of person that you need to have in your corner when we're talking about your finances, but especially when we're talking about retirement planning, because there's just so many things. We discussed Social Security and pension option. We discussed, obviously, taxes and all the different makings up of your estate plan. But there's just so many things to consider, and that's why you and your team can be such a great resource, because you've seen so many things, and you're going to make sure that the plan is well-rounded.
It's got to be well-rounded, and it's got to be paid attention to. Like you said, what happens when we talk about the pensions, so security and taxes, that all affects. But so the questions are the same, whether your estate isn't that big, and you're out there saying, well, I'm not that big, it's not important. Calm down. You probably need to pay attention to it. The second thing is, the questions we ask are the same questions, but everybody's individually so different. And so if you're out there and you've got a lot of money, you've got a different challenge out there, different legal documents, different type of investing. Maybe you have an average portfolio and you say, well, I don't have that much. I don't need to pay attention. You know what? Every dollar you need to pay attention. You can squeeze that nickel so tight. How do we turn it into dollars? By paying attention to the details. And Alex, you hit the nail on the head when you do the plan and design a plan. For those of you listening, do you have a game plan? Whether you are in retirement or maybe you're heading in to retirement, not there already, but you're heading into it. What should you be thinking about? What you should be paying attention to? And get that game plan set up now so you can have that more than $1 million in getting an advisor or guiding. That advisor needs to guide you. And hopefully when they guide you, they look at all three areas, the 3 blind mice I spoke about. Make sure that you're not left at the door paying attention to one of the 3 elements we just spoke about. Well, let's pay attention. And that's what's so important. So if you have a question out there, 609-488-4646.com. That's our website. And that's our phone number, 609-488-4646. I'd love to try to help you, guide you, or just schedule a time. Let's talk. Let's just talk about your situation. We'll talk about your dreams and the dollars and your dynasty. Alex?
That is Scott McLean, McLean Advisory Group. I'm Alex Dingman. This is Financial Insanity. Thanks for joining us.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money. But do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At McLean Advisory Group, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call the McLean Advisory Group team today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 609-488-4646. That's 609-488-4646. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. McLean Advisory Group, 609-488-4646. Investment advisory services offered through Sound Income Strategies, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. McLean Tax Advisory Group and Sound Income Strategies are not associated entities.
And when you pay down debt, you don't pay down the highest interest rate. The biggest mistake is you pay the highest interest rate card when you should do the snowball effect of paying down debt.
This is Financial Insanity with Scott McLean, presented by McLean Advisory Group.
Well, now that we know who the next president is going to be, many people wondering, how will the new administration affect my investments, my taxes, my estate plans? How can I make the most of these changes? I'm Alex Dingman, here, as always, next to Scott McLean, McLean Advisory Group. And Scott, it's exciting times. You know, obviously not everybody is going to be super thrilled with the result. I mean, that's how it's always going to be. But it's exciting because at least we know. We know now what the situation is, how to move forward. A lot of people are excited about it. And Scott, today we're going to be talking about how to take advantage of the new administration. Right, Scott?
I think it's important to take advantage of whether Kamala got in or Trump got in. We were having a show ready for this because I know people have it on their minds. And I know the last 3 months meeting with people, they didn't know what to do. They didn't know where to go tax-wise, investment-wise, estate planning-wise. And now we're getting a clearer picture as the day goes on. So I am excited about that. So whether you, like you said, Alex, I appreciate those of you who don't like Donald Trump. That's fine. You're not going to go out to dinner with him or maybe have a beer with him. But I can tell you one thing. We know how to work with this, and that's what's important. So I'm not pushing either side, but I want to make sure that you're making the best financial decisions, the 3D approach, Alex.
Yep. And Scott, you know, what we don't want is we don't want people changing their financial plan every 4 years, given the new administration. That is not the point we're making. But there are some things that come to light that, you know, given what side is in or what president is in, it does change, you know, how some things may look moving forward. And so for us in the finance world, it's all about looking at this and then trying to determine, all right, where are the different opportunities? So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about some different areas that, you know, may be positively affected with new corporate and personal tax structures likely on the way. So let's discuss this a little bit as far as some different changes. And in one area, Scott, I know that is important is taxes. And this is something where it's just important to be able to look ahead and see the type of tax changes that may come to light that we would need to make some adjustments with our plan for.
We do. And I think what's exciting about the taxes, and now we can plan for it since we do taxes for our clients, is, again, paying attention to, the sunset rule that's coming off 2025. Probably going to make that permanent. Whether he makes Social Security taxable or non-taxable, because Social Security is taxable 50%, then the next president came in, which was Clinton, and made it 85%. And if Trump makes it zero, I can tell you there's going to be a lot of those of you out there that are, whether you like Trump or not, you're going to like that new tax rules that all of your Social Security is not taxed. This could be a tremendous benefit. So when you do your tax planning with your financial advisor and your tax guy, they need to talk to each other, Alex. And this is really important in your planning and how to pull money out of your investments.
Absolutely. And Scott, before we get into the different sectors, I'm going to tell a joke. Okay, so,
all right.
and I want you to react here. All right, so Scott, a lawyer, a financial planner, and a tax preparer walk into a bar, and this does sound like the start of a joke, right? Well, it would be, except they all left without agreeing who should pay the tab. See the problem here, Scott? Those three professionals, they rarely talk to each other, and when they don't talk, your money is the one picking up the bill. Now, I gotta be honest. I stole that one from you, Scott. But if you could, bud, why is this a joke? I know that you share, or I thought that you share. What is your meaning here?
We talk about it in my book when I wrote it a few years ago. Financial planning. I call it the Three Blind Mice: How the Financial Planning Process Leads Your Money to a Mousetrap. And so, of course, those of you who don't understand the tax situation, the estate planning situation, and the investment situation, when they don't talk to each other, it leads you to a mousetrap that you end up having to pay the bill, as you just said, Alex, and the tab is out there. So the question is, how do we reduce that? And so thanks for joining our show today. If you need to have any questions during this show, a very powerful show today that Alex and I were talking about, you want to definitely write this down. Very important, very, very important number to write down. And that number is 609-488-4646. Again, I'll give it to you. That's directly to my staff, my radio show here, and my staff will get a hold of me to make a time we can speak. 609-488-4646. So I can try to answer your questions the best as possible. No cost, No, you're not going to get a bill, but it's just time. And so it's my freebie. It's my, how can I introduce myself to you and really benefit you who listening? 609-488-4646, Alex.
Thank you for that, Scott. All right, let's dive into these sectors now. So with the new presidential administration, some sectors, some changes, some things we might want to take advantage of. We'll get through as many of these as possible. But first, Scott, let's talk about the energy sector. What should we be focusing on there?
The energy sector, as we know, as he kept saying, Donald Trump kept saying, drill, baby, drill. And of course, that's been the theme. I guess that's like singing a beautiful song. And so that's going to really help out. And hopefully how he taxes that sector, we have a huge deficit. We're not hearing a lot about the deficit. But if we're drilling, we're building reserves, not giving reserves away. We're charging for our energy. This could be a tremendous benefit for us as Americans and building our reserves up. And I can tell you, this could be a great benefit for those of you who are concerned about the deficit for your grandkids and great grandkids and forget it, even yourself. And then when you look at, of course, where do you invest? Okay, what sectors? Well, the energy, Alex, as you stated, is a great sector of stocks. And those of you who like income, dividends, and interest, this could be a tremendous area to look into, Alex.
All right. And another one, Scott, I know defense and aerospace, another sector as we could possibly expect more military spending.
We can expect that. And I think that's where the Trump is going to be printing a lot of money. So he's got to make it somewhere up. Could be the energy sector to make it up. But our military isn't what it should be, nor what it has been in other presidencies. So we need to work on that. But on top of that, it's not just like President Obama said, well, we've got these satellites, we got the drones. Okay, well, wait a minute. We also need men and women. We need them to help us. We need people. And so technology is going to be a huge thing. And I know you said the infrastructure, but technology is going to be a huge impact, again, using the AI, as well as our infrastructure and bidding our ships out there because China's way overdoing us. So this area is really, really important as we look at that infrastructure. And I can tell you this is really important, and we'd have to build up our military.
All right, Scott, as we're going through some sectors that could potentially get a boost here under the Trump administration. So another area, and this one obviously one that you're very attuned to, financial services. Now, how might the tax structure impact this sector, Scott?
It could really change a lot. Now, we just know that in the IRAs, the 401ks, 403b, they just now changed the rules of how much you can put away. Alex, I'm not sure if you know this, but if those of you who are making big money, you can actually put a lot more money away. And in other words, invest it into an IRA, 401k, 403b, but not the normal $7,000. But now they actually changed that. So the financial sectors are going to be affecting that. You can put up to $30,000 away for those of you making big money and reduce your taxes. But again, the policies related to interest rates, the deregulations, the Tax Reform Act, which is changing your RMDs in 2033 to age 75. So, Alex, this is a great benefit for you, a tremendous benefit for younger people. I missed it by 2 years, unfortunately. Mine is 73. But for those of you that are younger, you can think of now, how can I defer money, put money out there, still have access to it, still get tax write-offs? This is a great area. So deregulations, Tax Reform Act really will affect that, as well as, of course, when you look at the industry, when you're reducing taxes, and when you look on the financials, as well as income tax into the industrial world, as we talk about the industrial world, changing it from the 21% to 15%, that is going to be huge. And so you definitely want to take advantage of the industrials as well, infrastructure. But again, in the financial sectors, which is the banks, insurance companies, the asset management firms, and of course, the payment processing firms. These could be, again, another sector. Deregulation could be a great benefit.
And to that point, Scott, another area, and you've kind of mentioned it, infrastructure, construction, but this is another one, as you have the Trump administration expected to focus on revitalizing American infrastructure.
You're right, Alex. You look at small companies that we grew up with, Alex. Now, me that being the old timer on this phone, on this radio show, you look at Caterpillar. Lockheed Martin. These are industrial infrastructure. These companies they're going to be helping out the defensive companies, the manufacturing, transportations. This is a great, great area. The government spending, could they be blowing money in the wrong area? Now they have a whole new division that's going to oversee the spending, which I'm really excited about. Because again, many of you remember years ago where they're spending a toilet seat could be $500 after they do a study, or these stupid studies that are giving money overseas to watching a shrimp run a treadmill, and how long can it run? It was just stupid spending. But the industrial infrastructure, this is so important, again, not only to military, but then, building. We need more infrastructure. We need more homes. This could be another booming sector in your portfolios. And again, you don't want to be overweighted in just one portfolio, but I'm giving you a few of those areas, Alex, that you're asking me about.
I took that personally when you commented about the shrimp on a treadmill. I don't know why.
Well, I can't help you're only 3'2".
Yeah, right.
That's your problem.
All right. What about the fifth sector here, Scott? Technology. Looking at some anticipated tax incentives and policies that could, favor some growth innovation in this area.
Well, this is really driving and the innovation and the economy, which will go into every single sector of the industry, whether it's wartime tools, drones. Okay. Now, how about your home? How about your TV? How about these things are tremendous? We're going from TV news to now podcasts. Again, the technology is really the driving innovation. These smart kids that are in their basement making and inventing things, almost like many of you older people, when you remember when you got your first colored TV. Well, now we have the TV on our phone. So again, we encompass the software, hardware, and then the services. And now we see this NVIDIA, the Alphabet, Google, Microsoft, Apple. These companies are going to really get blessings on that. And again, it's going to go back to deregulations, because I know they're trying to hit Google right now based on their search engine. They're trying to get Google to sell their search engine. This came up recently. So again, it's really, really less sensitive to interest rates rising or falling. But again, the more interest rates are falling, if you have bonds out there, you might want to pay attention your bonds. Could companies get rid of your bond or your preferred stock, and of course revitalize their investments, these big companies, and again issue new preferreds and new bonds, getting rid of you have a callable bond or a preferred. Really important to pay attention to the income tools if you're depending on income. But again, technology, Alex, you hit it on the head. This drives innovation and economic growth like unbelievable.
We are talking a new era of financial confidence on Financial Insanity today. If you have a question for Scott, that number 609-488-4646. That is 609-488-4646. Plenty more to come. Thank you so much for joining us today for Financial Insanity, out of the box thinking for your financial sanity.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money, but do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At McLean Advisory Group, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call the McLean Advisory Group team today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 609-488-4646. That's 609-488-4646. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. McLean Advisory Group, 609-488-4646. Investment advisory services offered through Sound Income Strategies, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. McLean Tax Advisory Group and Sound Income Strategies are not associated entities.
I call it the chicken and the egg. The chicken is the investment. The egg is the dividend. And so when the chicken pops out the eggs, if you don't need the money, let's reinvest the eggs and buy more chickens.
Man, that's just an excellent analogy, Scott.
We made it back. This is Financial Insanity with Scott McLean, presented by McLean Advisory Group.
Last segment, we talked about opportunities to take advantage of given the new presidential administration. We mentioned it could be a good time to invest in the following sectors. energy, defense and aerospace, financial services, infrastructure and construction, and technology. So it definitely sounds like there are some incredible opportunities across these sectors, especially with the new tax structures coming into play. But Scott, if you could tell us more about McLean Advisory Group's approach to ensuring clients' financial security even in changing times.
Those of you listening, we really want to understand it, and I think you do too, especially your spouse as well, especially if you have spouses that are not really involved in money, but they need to understand what's going on, or beneficiaries of your assets. The dreams, it's about aligning the investments with each of your personal goals, and then the dollars, where we consistently focus on the climate, the markets, the Congress, the president, and protecting those through growing your wealth through, again, taxes, strategic tax and investment planning. And then lastly, the dynasty. How does the money pass on so that no matter what the economic landscape is, we're making sure as best as possible that we can give you heads up and caution the investor so they can seek growth and seek protection, as well as not have a complex or a very tremendously taxable estate. And that's what's really important about the 3D approach: the dreams, the dollars, and the dynasty, Alex. This is really critical.
It really is. And Scott, another thing that is critical for a comprehensive approach, which you take, is looking at the tax code. And I know that there are definitely some things here with the new administration to look at to make sure that you have a good strategy, and making sense of things when it happens to be as far as taxes and what makes the most sense.
When you look at taxes, Alex, and I'm glad you brought that up. We talked about it earlier in this workshop show. Is number one, Social Security, because Social Security can be taxed up to 85%. That doesn't mean used to be tax-free, and then under Reagan, he made it 50%. Under Clinton, he changed it to 85%. But if Trump changes it to 0%, everything changes on how you pull money out. So we are paying attention to that. Again, taxes. How much should you take? Where should you take it? Almost like a Roth IRA. Should I do Roth conversions or not Roth conversions? So again, paying attention to the tax code. Again, the sunset law coming off the table in 2025. If Trump makes it permanent, this could really benefit you. Again, taxable estate, when it passes on to the heirs, will they get whacked or not? Do you have to do the 10-year stretch upon passing money on to your children or not? And again, they may be unaware of taxes, but I can tell you the firm that you're working with needs to guide them, educate them, and work with them so they make sure that your dollars, along with your dreams, are not pilfered, stolen, evaporate, because of the dynasty was set up wrong, and updating your will, power of attorney, living will, or maybe you need some trust planning.
Well, and Scott, for folks that are out there and maybe they have questions or they're concerned about how they're going to meet their goals or how they're going to protect their family's future, what would you tell these folks to do?
I think the most important thing is you get off the couch, get off the golf course, or don't do that. When you're at the golf course, maybe give our studios a call and schedule a time to visit with us. No cost, no obligation, or give our studios a call at 609-488-4646. And the reason why is because maybe you've gotten something from our shows in the past, 12, 13, 14 years we've been doing the radio. And maybe it's about time you stop the procrastination nonsense, and maybe you get a second or third opinion, maybe from someone who looks at it holistically in the sense of, let me look at your tax returns. Let me see your trust, your will, your power of attorney. Let me understand who the people are in your life that in case you can't make a shot or call, so we know who to speak to and we know how to guide you. This is essential. 609-488-4646. Don't procrastinate. Give our studios a call. Happy to talk to you off the air. No cost, no obligation. This is our give back to our community since 1983. I've been licensed and got in the business in 1982. So I think it's really important, Alex, especially now in the new administration we have this next few years. I can tell you this could be a really windfall for those of you listening that do take action. 609-488-4646. Real simple to call us.
As we're talking today about a new era of financial confidence on the show today. And I want to remind folks as well, they can always go to the website. Scott gave out that number, 609-488-4646. Just add a .com for the website. And Scott, I think, a lot of what we're talking about today is taking advantage of this current administration, and that is really important. And Scott, you're the man that, we already pointed out the sectors. We're going to talk about the different areas and the tax code and how we can take advantage and all that. But the other great benefit that you have, Scott, is being in this industry for 40 plus years, and you've seen, I know, trust me, it's going to sound good when I'm all said and done here. But Scott, you've seen a bunch of administrations come and go, and you've seen a lot of different things happen in the world and how it affects finances. And so, Scott, not only can you have a conversation about, all right, how can, I best set you up here given the current administration, but also to say, but we don't want, a different plan every 4 years. We're also going to develop a plan that's going to be able to withstand, ups and downs of the market or interest rates or administrations, whatever may be happening. And so I think that's just important to note to make, Scott, is that you're going to help people take advantage of the now, but then also make sure that people are set up for their own futures and for their family's future as well.
If they've been investing with our firm for years, the question is, when you look, there's almost a track record, a pattern when new presidents come in, old presidents leave. This is the norm. The question is, what is the norm now? It's kind of different. This President Trump now, is really shaking up the industry. So we are paying attention to it. But that doesn't mean we set it and forget it. No matter if you've had to do all the presidencies I've been involved in since 1982, licensed in 83, things pretty much, we see the norm, but there are people out there saying, okay, what's next? Especially if you're in retirement and you've watched this over the years, you understand. But maybe you're brand new to retirement. You're about to retire and you're nervous, like many people have, saying, Scotty, don't do any investments. Please don't do any investments. Wait to see the presidency. I'm not going to tell you or anybody, no, we're going to go ahead and invest. This is your money. It's not mine. I have to honor your words. I have to honor you. I'm not going to try to twist your arm and beg you to get in the market because I'm looking at the dollars. That's so ridiculous. And if any investment firm tells you to do that, they're just not paying attention to the sensitivity of what you're going through. This is your last hurrah. You're donating your money. You're giving your money to someone you hope you trust. You see, when the markets dive down, you fire that advisor. When markets scream back up, you love that new advisor. And then all of a sudden it turns back down like it did from 2000 to 2002. Then market zoomed back up 2002 to 2007 7 years of no growth. Then from 2007 to 2009, the market drops down. Now you fire that advisor. You get a brand new advisor. You need holistic planning. You need to understand what is going on and what do we do? Can you ride this Mr. Wild Toad's ride or can you not? This is where we find out the beta factor in your portfolio. This is why people give our studios a call. Say, Scott, what is my risk factor? I've never was told my risk factor. That's the beta factor, 609-488-4646. Let me take a look at the portfolio, and we can give you a pretty good estimation of what you're doing, what's going on, and maybe you need to tweak it. Or maybe you call your financial advisor, then you call us and say, what do you see? Without even telling us you called your financial advisor, and find out what he or she said. So you are going to pay attention, not procrastinate, to make sure you're getting the biggest bang for your dollar and make sure people are paying attention to the risk and rewards of the market, Alex.
Yeah, and I love that 3D approach because it is customized to everybody. When you're going through that, it isn't a one-size-fits-all. That's the great thing about everybody that's out there, is that everybody is wonderful and unique in their own way, and they all have whatever makes the most sense for them when it comes to their financial plan. Everybody has a different risk tolerance. Everybody has, different amounts of money to invest. Everybody has different ideas about what, leaving a lasting legacy means. And so that's the other thing, Scott, is that you're coming in and you're looking at an individual or you're looking at a couple strictly as, this is unlike any other, one of one, and, creating a customized plan that makes sense for that particular person.
It does. And I think what I get many times is when people come in there and they'll say, well, Scott, I don't want to bother you or waste your time, but we don't have too much money. And they might have $1 million, but they think they don't have enough money. Then we have other people coming in saying the same thing, and they may have $50,000 saved. We are not, Alex, we don't look at them as the size of their portfolio, but how their portfolio is established based on what they have, based on what they need, and based on the tools that are in the tool house. So it's not how much do you have, it's what can we do and can we make it benefit? I may just simply say, you're doing a great job. Your advisor seems to be looking at the legal aspects, the tax benefit aspects, and the investments. It seems like they're all in alignment. Stay with the guy or gal. You might want to stay with them. It seems like they're doing a wonderful job. But 9 times out of 10, what I find is they're not looking at all those areas. But if they are, I am congratulating you for finding the right person who's paying attention. But just because you've been with them 2, 20, 30, 40 years, the same guy or gal, doesn't mean that they're driving the Mercedes and now they're driving a Ferrari. Each driving tool requires different skills. In retirement, those skills change from growth to income 9 times out of 10. But those of you who want to keep growing your money, great. Let's take a look at it. So it's your goal, not our goal, your dreams, your desire, your dynasty. And the dollars, well, let's make sure they're working the way you want them to work. And this is why we look at people almost not a cookie cutter, because cookie cutter solutions, they just don't work. It's like, Alex, it's like Colonel Sanders babysitting your pet chicken. It just doesn't work.
I love that. And, you're willing to work with, if you voted for Trump, Harris, Pootie Pie, whatever it may have been, you are here at McLean Advisory Group ready to assist as we are talking today about the new era of financial confidence. But again, Scott, happy to assist anyone, despite whatever the political beliefs.
I don't even look at that.
Right.
If you don't like Trump, if you don't like Harris, if you don't like the Democrats, you don't like Republicans, you don't like the independent. Okay, great. Let's put that aside. You do like money. It's almost like in church, Scott, I think the money's the root of all evil. Time out, cuz. Money right up there is like breathing. You need it. You need it for some reason. So stop that religious connotation or the feeling of, whoever you like, that's who you should invest with, not invest with. No, it's what the market's offering. That's what you have to deal with. And that's it.
609-488-4646, the number for Scott and his team at McLean Advisory Group, 609-488-4646. We really appreciate you joining us today. And before we take a break, Scott, I just want to ask you very frankly here, what are you thankful for this year?
Thanksgiving is a wonderful time, and I'm so thankful, number one, that I love what I do. I don't know what else I would be doing in my life. I don't see myself retiring. I thank God that I am very healthy, at least with a couple knee surgeries and pains and aches. I am so thankful my brain is so sharp, and I love studying what's happening. So I'm so thankful that I have that ability. And then I'm so thankful for our clients who trust us. Trust, as my daddy always told me, is earned. Just because you do one thing good doesn't mean everything is good. So trust is earned. And I can tell you, we've had clients now over 30 plus years. And I say, their trust is still earned day by day. So thank those of you. I'm thankful for those of you that are clients of ours, or maybe you're thinking about what we do at our firm. I'm thankful that you even come in. The second thing I'm thankful that I have, and our firm has the ability. I've got some sharp people, and I'm so thankful. So Alex, I guess there's two things, not one. And I am thankful for you, Alex, helping me with the show and making it as good as it is with so many listeners asking so many great questions. So thank you, Alex.
Absolutely. I'm very thankful to be a part of this machine and thankful for all of our tremendous listeners out there. So thank you, as always, for joining us. And we have plenty more financial insanity coming up.
Who likes uncertainty? Wall Street certainly does not. With near record inflation and partisan politics, there's a lot of uncertainty right now. What will America's future look like? What will your future look like? Will your taxes go up? Will your savings go down? For more than 40 years here in the Jersey Shore area, Scott McLean and the team at McLean Advisory Group have seen uncertainty come and go. No matter what the future holds, Scott can help you create a plan designed to preserve your finances in uncertain times. And it's not a matter of if those uncertain times will show up, but when. Call 609-488-4646 now to meet with Scott McLean and the team at McLean Advisory Group. If uncertainty is causing you to feel insecure, Scott McLean might be able to help. Call 609-488-4646 and schedule your visit today. Again, that's 609-488-4646.
Investment advisory services are offered through Sound Income Strategies, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Frankly, you could have your grandkids tweet out to your friends or go on the Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is and say, I got great information from Scott.
And you left out TikTok there as you're rambling off the different social media being used by the kids today. You got to remember that TikTok.
Oh, that's right. Tickety-tock.
This is Financial Insanity with Scott McLean, powered by McLean Advisory Group.
We really appreciate you joining us for Financial Insanity. I'm your host, Alex Dingman, alongside Scott McLean of McLean Advisory Group. And what we love to do is to work in some of those listener questions into the show and get some insights from Scott on your retirement concerns. And so what we're going to do, we're going to have a little fun with this segment. We're going to keep Scott on his toes. I like to test him with this Think Fast segment. All right. So these are going to be questions you have not seen in advance. You just need to think of them, give us a good answer here quickly. And what we'll do, Scott, we'll start off with some finance questions. We do want to get those into the show. And then we'll get a little more personal later on so people can learn more about you. Does that sound? Do you trust me, Scott?
That's exciting.
Can
Come
we do
on,
that?
big dog. I hope I don't get stumped.
Let's you go.
Let's get this party started.
Ah, you're going to be great. All right, we'll do this. Okay. Our first question here, and this one is one that we hear a lot, Scott. So I'm sure that you're going to be ready for it. When should I start considering taking Social Security? When should I begin?
Wow, I get that question all the time, Alex. And if you're trying to fund your early bird dinners or your luxury cruise lifestyle, the real answer is about strategy. What is your game plan? If you're married, your spouse or partnership, that's really important. Whether you claim it at 60 or 62, your husband dies, your wife dies, spousal or 62. Again, you get smaller checks for a longer time. The question is, it's kind of like nibbling on an appetizer. If you wait till 70, you get the full buffet. But if you're not that patient, or maybe you can't wait, everybody's different. Don't let them make fun of you because you took it longer and your friend didn't. You know what? That is, again, the game of chess. The chess with who? Your own mind, your wallet, and Uncle Sam. And this is why it really helps for people to get that specialized software that when you dive down and about to take Social Security, you look at all the options. Option one could be much more favorable than option two. Over hundreds of thousands of dollars more option one would have been, but maybe you took two. This is why you need to have a consultation, a one-on-one, come to Jesus meeting, or if you're married, a two-on-one or with an advisor. But this is so important.
Absolutely. And it is definitely your decision. It is not the decision of what your peers have done when it comes to Social Security. It is really about you and what makes the most sense. All right. And so another question here during the Think Fast segment, putting Scott to the test. This person writes in and says, what about some of the best ways for leaving an inheritance to my family?
Wow. Well, you know what? I want to love you beyond the grave. How do I pass money and assets? This is why the advisor needs to make sure, again, the beneficiary arrangement, the legal arrangements, your spouse's maybe health situation. Again, a little bit too close to the Pirates of the Caribbean when you're looking for a treasure hunt, when you think about, what you're going to do in inheritance. So you want to have it laid out, a game plan. A game plan, again, I talk about, you don't want to spoil your kids? Well, why not? I mean, if you've got it. And again, go watch The Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. You don't want to spoil the kids, but how do you guide them? This could be a wonderful type of trust where you get some of your kids might need a spend thrift trust because, if you gave them a large amount of money, they're going to blow it immediately. Well, let's get a game plan where they're going to get a check for the rest of their life, or maybe when they turn 60, they get the remaining balance. This could be a great game plan for protecting yourself from giving them too much, because they're going to blow it. Maybe the money goes in the wrong hand. By the way, that's what I've done myself. This is why it's important to review the legal documents and the tax documents. How do we leave the assets to the family and not let the crows and the clowns that show up at the funeral invade your nice nest egg?
I like it. As we're going through the Think Fast segment today on financial insanity, I want to remind folks as well, if you have questions, that number for Scott and his team, 609-488-4646, 609-488-4646. All right, time for a couple more before we get into some more personal questions here and really have some fun, but some good questions here. So another one, this one for you. What are some ways to potentially reduce my taxes in retirement?
Hey, Alex, do me a favor. Grab a toothpaste and squeeze as much as you can and then try to get more. That's the game plan of reducing taxes in retirement. Paying attention to the tax situation along with your investment situation. So do you need to do some Roth conversions? Maybe some of you should. We're looking at the new tax laws coming up. That's amazing. This is why the advisor needs to pay attention to most tax laws. We just had the windfall profit just get erased. Now, some of you got a pay raise, by the way. Keep that in your mind. If you are a government worker, you just got a pay raise. And I can tell you'll be excited because you didn't get Social Security. Now it's going to be increased. And then again, we'll take advantage of the tax-free investments depending on your tax bracket, whether municipals, bonds, or not. And so, again, we look at all these here. Maybe you got a lot of money saying, you know what, I've got a lot of money coming in. I don't need it all. How can I do my tax deferral? We know the required minimum distribution is now changing to age 75, which it started at 70 and a half, which is now just boosting up. So we need to pay attention to the laws for you out there listening. Everyone is different, and they're all not the same. The questions might be the same, but the answers are going to be totally different based on age, gender, what's going on with you. And I can tell you this could be a great thing. So, again, pay attention how to really ways of potential. Look at your tax returns, your tax investments, where they're set up. This is important, again, to use your investments along with the tax return.
Absolutely, Scott. All right, buddy. We're going to put that brain to a test here with Think Fast segment. And these are going to be things a little bit more personal because we love it when people can get to know you like I've gotten to know you. And so a few more questions here
I love it.
To kind of peel back the curtain a little bit about who Scott is. All right, buddy? So I'm going to start the timer. We're going to have just a couple minutes. All right? So we'll go through as many of these as we can, but, don't worry about spending a whole lot of time answering either question. All right?
Great.
All right, let's do it, baby. All right. First question, my friend, starting the timer now. Top news sources that you check regularly.
News sources. I like looking at Yahoo. I look at Bloomberg, the news sources for finances. I look at CNN as well as Fox, as well as other different, I get a whole bunch of different areas. Then you got the Wall Street Journal. Great stuff. But again, we got to be careful of the bias in the areas. So again, those are the areas, the top news I look at and pay attention to, as well as so many periodicals we read when we make our financial decisions, as well as the stock market, what's going on there. So that's a very big question, Alex.
Yeah, no, but that's a good answer. All right. What book have you read more than once?
The Winner Within, Pat Riley. Then you got the Book of Proverbs. I love that's the best book. I do that every single day as part of my routine. More Than a Carpenter. Powerful book for those people who are seeking yourself and finding out what's going on with their spirituality, as well as a classic Moby Dick. So
very cool.
It's got a lot of stuff in there. It's really cool. So I guess I'm crazy, but I love those books. The Bible is number one in my list.
Favorite sport?
Water skiing.
Yep.
And snow skiing, but number one, water skiing. I love it.
I would have known that one. First car?
Gremlin. American Motors came out with the Gremlin with the flat back, stick shift. That was my first car. It was amazing. Followed by my Volkswagen Diesel. 1980 was my Volkswagen Diesel. So two great cars. I love it.
Cake or pie?
Pie.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Coconut custard, baby.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Favorite day of the week?
I don't know. I think Sunday is a great day because I know I can relax and get my head right and have that private time. I love every day. Alex, I don't know.
Okay.
I just don't know how to answer that question. That's probably why I'm not retired.
Well, today's the
I don't
day.
know what I would do if I didn't do this business. I love what I do.
Your favorite day is today, every day. Last one, most important one, real quick. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Okay, there we go. You heard it. But if you're a cat lover, Scott can help you as well. That is Scott McLean, McLean Advisory Group. The number for him and his wonderful team, in case you have any questions, again, 609-488-4646, 609-488-4646. Scott, good stuff today. Always nice talking to you, my friend.
You're the best, Alex. Thank you. Hope this is helpful.
Absolutely. We appreciate all of our listeners. Until next time, this is Financial Insanity.
This radio program may contain information which has gone regulatory or other significant changes since its original recording. The information and views expressed on today's show is educational in nature and is not intended to be a recommendation for any specific investment, product, strategy, plan, tax, or legal advice. Information presented is believed to be factual and up to date, but we do not guarantee its accuracy. Investment advisory services offered through Sound Income Strategies, LLC, a SEC-registered investment advisory firm. McLean Advisory Group and Sound Income Strategies, LLC, are not associated entities.
This radio show is a paid placement.